as a team, we hit them pretty good. I think we finished 10 under, 11 under.
Awesome.
And so me personally, up and down, when I got in the rough, I was done. That rough out there it's ridiculous.
Yes.
It really is. Even the pros are complaining about it.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing like on a regular Jack likes to set it up to get these guys ready for the U.S. Open in 2 weeks. So
well, he's done it.
That's right. I got to ask you, though, I'm sure you play a lot, but when you play in events like this and there's that many eyes on you, is it does it make you think a lot more? Is it a lot harder to play?
It really is. It's a lot harder to focus in, right?
Yeah.
Because you're thinking like, okay, I need to make sure I keep this ball in the fairway. I don't want to hit anybody. and it's hard not to be on your mind because the patrons, they're right there lined up.
Yeah.
And so, what I found is you have to make yourself relax because naturally as football players, tensing up is good. When we're about to collide with someone,
right.
We tense up. But you can't tense up in golf. You got to relax as much as possible.
Do you enjoy the game, though, golf?
I love it. I love it because it's a game that you're playing against yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not about what the other person is doing out there because you're the one that has to hit that ball. And so if you want to be mad at someone, you have to be mad at yourself. But I enjoy it because I'm able to get out there and really have fun when I play. Listen, I don't take myself too seriously about it. Yes, I want to be good.
Right.
But if I shank one in the water, then, it is what it is.
Yeah. Visiting with LaDainian Tomlinson, NFL Hall of Famer, joining us here on The Drive with Jackson and McCoy. I got to ask you, the Pro-Am is part of Nationwide Children's Hospital, and the tournament here benefits Nationwide Children's Hospital. You're a former NFL Man of the Year, very active in the community. How important is that to you? And I know it is on the PGA Tour very important, but when you were playing in the NFL, and still now, to be involved in the community?
Well, I realize how much being involved in the community really changes people's lives. And just seeing it firsthand, the joy that you put on someone's face by saying hi and taking a picture or signing an autograph. It is what we should be doing as professional athletes. And listen, one of my greatest award, I say it's the Walter Payton Man of the Year because it recognizes the individual from his community work, and it's voted on by your peers. So you can't fool your peers. Like, you have to be out in the community doing something. And that's why Nationwide, what they're doing as a partner in Walter Payton Man of the Year, but also this patient championship program, it is phenomenal because this changes people's life. And this is another thing that I always tell people. People might remember a record that I broke for a year or two, a number of years, but eventually I'm gonna retire and the next guy comes along, you forget about the record.
Right.
The impact that I can have, or a professional athlete, or any of us that can have on someone's life, is forever. It is forever.
You think about kids that meet players, and I've run into, there's a guy that lives on our street, in fact, talks about the time when he was a kid actually meeting Walter Payton and the impact that had on him, how gracious he was. And it was a 2-minute meeting, and he shook his hand and met him and everything. But that has stayed with him. He's in his 40s now, and it has stayed with him his whole life. And that's kind of what you're talking about.
I met Emmitt Smith when I was 12 years old. As a 12-year-old kid, and it changed my life because I was a kid at that time with lacking in confidence, positive self-esteem. Meeting Emmitt Smith and sizing this guy up and saying, man, this guy's not that big.
Right.
That's when I truly started to believe, you know what, I can make it to the NFL. Like, I can make it. So it did. It changed my life. So I completely understand what you're saying.
So in Columbus, Ohio, we love our Ohio State football.
Yeah.
There's a little game coming up down in Arlington between your alma mater, TCU, and Ohio State. But what are your early thoughts on that matchup?
Well, my early thoughts are, obviously, two teams are very talented with athletes and speed all over the field. But when you think about it, both teams have young quarterbacks starting for the first time.
Yep.
And with our quarterback, it's the same as Ohio State. He was a blue chip prospect, coming out of the state of Texas. Now, which quarterback is going to play better?
Yep.
That's what you look at. both teams are coached very well. Coaches that have been at one school for a very long time, that really hang their hat on playing really good defense and having athletes on the field.
Yeah.
But it's going to come down to the quarterback position.
You must have a lot of pride in the program that's been built at TCU, because it's become one of the top programs in the country.
I do. And, you know, when I first got there, you know, I was part of the group that started to change the program back around. Went to our first bowl game my sophomore year, the Sun Bowl, played against USC. No one gave us a chance. We beat the brakes off USC, you know, and that's when we first started that turnaround. You know, but to be still part of the program, to be on the board of trustees and being around the program, I'm so happy and excited about where the program has come from and where it is now. And I'll tell you what, this game with Ohio State is a measuring stick for us, right?
Right.
Because Ohio State is a team that's always right there, top 5 in rankings. They're always pushing for a national championship. It's what we strive to be. And so this is a measuring stick for us.
Do you like the college football system now, the playoff? Does the college football playoff with 4 teams? I mean, TCU's been on the outside looking in, and there's always debate who should that 4 team be. Is it better? Does it need fixed? Are you an 8 playoff guy?
Well, you know, I've thought about that for quite a while now, and I'm not so sure. I know it's better than it used to be with the whole BCS situation. It is better. There's no question you should have a playoff, but I do think you need to find a way to have more teams. Listen, if we have 5 power conferences, why do you only have 4 teams?
I like that.
You know what I mean?
We've talked about that a lot, where you have 5 and then 3 at-large bids or something like that. Conference champ gets in and then figure out the next 3.
Absolutely.
So that would be fun. And you could have games on, you know, maybe TCU's a higher seed, you go to their campus for the first round. Things like that. But, yeah, it is better than it was without question. I do want to ask you, from the National Football League standpoint, a lot of conversation, especially the last week after the owners meeting with the anthem policy. What is your take on what has gone on over the last couple of years, from Colin Kaepernick's first initial protest to where we have gotten now, where it doesn't feel like the players are very happy because it was kind of unilaterally done last week?
You know, I really don't have a take about it, you know, honestly, because you know, I'm not in a situation as a player anymore.
Right.
And so I figure I can't be right on either side. Whatever I say is going to be criticized.
Somebody's going to be, exactly. I understand that. And we're so divisive right now. It really seems like no one wants to just talk it out. And that's
and just listen to each other.
Yes.
Just find a common ground, but understand someone else's point.
Right.
And until we get to that place, then I think we'll continue to have the same conversations about being divisive.
Okay, last couple things. Your best game, is there one that sticks out like that's when I was at my very, very best? And
yeah, I think it was 05, 06. I think I had 2 different games where I had a rushing touchdown, receiving touchdown, and throwing touchdowns. One against the Giants and one against the Raiders. I was at my complete best. Whenever you can go into a game and score 3 different ways,
right,
throw a touchdown pass and catch one and rush for another, you got to say that's when you're at your best.
And player safety has become a major issue right now. You seem like you look like you could go out and play right now.
The key is to look like it. I can't do it.
But the rule changes that have been made to try to make players safe, they've done a lot with the kickoffs now over the last. Are you okay with it, or do you feel like you know, we're taking away, changing the game a little bit too much?
No, I get it. I get it. There's been a lot of talk about concussions, and you know, people who are playing youth football, the parents, you know, they get afraid of that, and rightfully so, because you don't know what hit can cause it, a concussion. And I have a 7-year-old son, and I have to talk about that within my own household. When do we let him play tackle? He plays flag football right now. He says, "Dad, I want to play tackle," and I'm like, "You're going to play baseball." You know, that's what I tell him.
Yeah.
But it is, I think, something that the NFL has to lead the charge, and I think they're doing the right thing and heading in the right direction by doing something to try to make the game safer. Now, will it ever be the safest game? No. Because it's still going to be a physical, violent game. And to be honest with you, we know what we sign up for. We do.
Mm-hmm.
We know, what's at stake, when we take the field. And, but I think the guys will do their best to try to abide by the rules because they have to nowadays.
Well, this has been a pleasure, LT. I'm glad you had a fun time out here, and thanks for stopping by and joining us for a few minutes.
Thank you so much.